Pick your nose now.
And thanks, Hal. We heard it. Well done.
This is Kids on Bikes. What do you?
It's how kids do, right?
This is what, yeah,
Right.
Kids on Bikes.
We're live. Go do your thing.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. We're going to be doing our session 0 for Kids on Bikes today. This is a cooperative narrative storytelling game. The tagline is Big Adventures in a Small Town. We're going to have something going on, maybe like Scooby-Doo, maybe like Stranger Things, maybe like the Cthulhu mythos. We don't know. It's a cooperative storytelling, so we're going to see where it goes. Why don't we introduce ourselves? My name is Hal. I'll be facilitating the game master, such as it is in a cooperative storytelling game. This is going to actually be my first time playing or running this kind of a role-playing game, so it's certainly going to be something different. My background is more in things like D&D and Shadowrun, which I think that's probably true for most people who are into role-playing games, but this is a really fun way to do games, and it's becoming increasingly popular. So I'm excited to get my feet wet here.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to Sarah, the king and boss, queen, I should say, of Rem Alternus, who's hosting this on stream for us. So, I don't know, Sarah, you should probably go next.
Cool. Hi. I'm Sarah. I own Rem Alternus Productions, so this is my first time running tech without having to run the game, so that feels great. And yeah, we're gearing up for the public release of our trailer for Chicago Shadows, which is super exciting. So we've been working for 3 years on this. We got funded on our Kickstarter last year. Post-production just wrapped up. So if you would like to check out the cyberpunk fantasy trailer early, you can check us out on Patreon. I'll drop the link here in a minute. And we're going to have watch parties with the cast and crew before public release. So that's the big thing we're working on right now. Other than that, I GM the D&D episodical series every Saturday morning from 10 to 12 Central. And I think that's it.
I hear that's really good.
The cast is kind of a pain in the ass, but
Yeah, screw them.
I love you guys.
Sure.
Danny.
Hi, I'm Danny. I am involved with Rem Alternus as the content manager. Also, I am the Shadowrun missions coordinator for Catalyst Game Labs Shadowrun tabletop RPG. That means I put together the live campaign and make sure that it's all written and everything so that folks can play it every summer at the cons and then hopefully see them in release. I'm here to, play some Kids on Bikes, hang out with some friends, and have a good time.
Awesome. Yeah, another one who knows about dealing with the talent. Aaron.
Hi, my name's Aaron. I occasionally stream on the Rem Alternus channel, specifically doing some Shadowrun 5th Edition for the backers of the Chicago Shadows teaser trailer, and been having fun doing that, and very, very excited to join and play some Kids on Bikes. I've heard great things about it.
I'm excited too. I'm looking forward to this. And last but not least, Brianna.
Hello. I'm Brianna Valentine. I'm an actress. I'm a dancer. I have been playing RPGs for about 3 years now, but kind of like Hal and some others, I really kind of focus on D&D, so it's really cool to be able to play Kids on Bikes for the first time. It's a super cool aesthetic, so I'm excited to find things on bikes per the title.
Indeed.
Yeah, so deep. So we're gonna have some fun.
I think so. Okay, so let's get started. You should be able to see on the screen, we're doing a session 0. That's kind of gamer slang for building characters and working everyone's relations with the party out, how they relate to each other. And in Kids on Bikes is a very rules light game system. We're not going to go over the rules so much because we're just making characters now. We'll touch on it as they relate to the characters. But a big part of the game is cooperatively developing the setting that the game is going to take place in, as well as working out how the characters all know each other. Because in a small town, people tend to, even if they don't know each other well, they certainly know who they are. So everyone is going to know each other to some degree. And uh, a fun part of the game is you don't just make your character by yourself. Other people cooperatively work with you, and we're going to have some characters who know each other by the end of the session.
I'm so ready.
Yes.
Danny's like,
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is develop the town that all these characters live in. And that's going to give us kind of our foundation for the themes of the game, and if it's going to be a silly or a serious or kind of be the underlying bedrock of everything that comes forward. And because this is such a cooperative storytelling game, the game master actually doesn't make these kinds of decisions. Whereas in D&D or Shadowrun, the game master picks a setting, usually or often has some kind of a script that an adventure is going to take place with, and that's very much not the case in this kind of a game. So why don't we get started with making our town? The way that's going to work is there are a series of questions. All the players are going to take turns answering questions, and each one, uh, in the matter or in the tradition of improv, it's a yes and. So once something is established, that's canon for our setting, and we build on it.
Awesome.
So does somebody
Yay.
want to go first, or should we dice off for it?
Let the dice decide our fate.
Yes.
All righty, let's do a d20 so we don't have to do ties. Of course, that means since I said we won't need ties. Probably make it tie because I said it wouldn't happen. All right, we got a 10.
Oop.
That's a D100, right? Just kidding.
Yeah. Aaron's leading with a 10, and Sarah trumps him.
Dun-dun-dun.
Take that, Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, come
Okay.
on.
So I guess we'll just go around the table. We'll go Sarah, Danny, Aaron, Brianna, and then back to Sarah. So Sarah, you get to decide what the name of the town is. Our adventure takes place in what town and what state?
Well, let's.
You're certainly free to solicit ideas from other players, but this is your decision.
Oh my. Well, I think I'd like to terribly pronounce something that already exists. Like Aaron brought up Gen Con, so maybe like I'm Dianopolis.
All right, well, this is a name we're going to have to say throughout the campaign.
Sounds like everyone's problem. I'm Dianopolis.
I'm Dianopolis. Okay.
Indeed. It is known.
I'm Dianopolis it is. And what state is that in?
I'm Diana.
Okay, I'm trying to keep it straight. I'm Dianopolis. I can't even remember it already. We're gonna have to write it down.
I'm Dianopolis.
We're gonna have to come up with like a nickname that everybody calls this place.
Indy?
Yeah.
Indy.
All right. So Danny would be next in line. Danny, the industry of the location of this part of Indiana is best known for what?
Lobster.
Yes.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be. I think we have the seeds of a silly game going on.
Did we expect anything different?
Okay.
Just
Bria-
following the lead there.
Yep. Brianna,
Yes.
the town is infamous for.
Ooh, the town is infinite. Whoa, Infernus. It's infamous
Yes.
for
Is
the
there
one.
something bad that happened in the past, or is there something bad that's going on now?
So the one time, that all the lobsters got loose and ran through town, and so now we have a yearly lobster parade where all the floats are shaped like lobsters.
Okay. The infamous lobster rampage.
The running of the lobsters.
Okay.
All right. You did
Okay.
this,
It's a
Sarah.
thing. It's a thing. Okay. So back to Sarah. Economically,
Wait,
the
did
town
Aaron get a
of.
turn?
Oh, did
What is
I
our
did
town
skip Aaron?
famous for?
Okay, so yes, Aaron, what is our town famous for? The region is famous for the lobster, but what is what is the town famous for?
The town is famous for having the smallest replicas of all of the major skyscrapers throughout the world, displayed down Main Street as sort of places to park or to hang your bike, basically bike racks.
I love
Okay,
it.
okay,
Nice.
indeed. So we certainly have a visual for Main Street now. Okay, so Sarah, economically, our town is doing what? Is it prospering? Is it floundering? Is it stagnant? Is it something else?
Lobstering?
I'd say that yeah, I was gonna say lobstering. We are after owning, we had a little bit of floundering after the escape of the lobsters, but now that we've turned it into a celebration, I'd say like our town is on the rise. We're not
Okay.
well off, but we're gaining.
Sounds like the lobster parade. It brings a lot of tourists or so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Tourist money is good money.
Plus, people like to hold lobsters up to all the mini bike racks and stuff like that, so it looks like giant lobsters are rampaging the town.
Okay.
Or rampaging the world,
Yeah,
actually.
The world,
rampaging different
yes.
parts of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Indeed.
What have we
Okay.
done?
Danny, a notable local organization in Indiana. I can't even say it. I'm gonna have to practice later.
Indianapolis.
So by next session, I'll be able to say it.
Indianapolis.
A notable local organization for in the town is.
It's the Society for the Preservation of Local Lobsters, um, which
Okay.
is which is spelled spell.
Alrighty.
SPLL.
That was
So,
quick. That was real quick.
they're a little worried that there's an overabundance of lobster harvesting, and a lot of times they're out there trying to just besides
Save the
educational
lobsters.
stuff, but yeah, save the lobsters kind of thing, because I mean, it should have been a wake up call, the rampage, the lobster rampage that happened,
Sure.
but
But we haven't learned. We haven't learned.
Will we ever?
Okay, so Aaron, I skipped you before, so we'll get you in order this time. A notable local landmark in the town is.
I think that we would have in our town this very large aquarium bowl.
Okay.
And that's sort of you can walk through the center of it, and you can see the lobsters crawling around within the bottom of the bowl, and there's bigger fish up top, but who cares about them? The lobsters are king.
Okay. Is this what the lobsters escaped from for their rampage?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
absolutely. They call it the fishbowl, though.
Okay. All right. So, Brianna, you get the last question. This could be a really easy one based on what we have so far, or you could kind of take this in a new direction. But the local school's sports team is called the what?
So it is called the crawfish. And
Okay.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking.
I'm so glad we're all on the same page. For I think pretty obvious reasons.
Okay. I'd say that's an easy one, or we could just add in a whole different dimension. But it's okay. We're doubling down,
Yeah.
tripling down, and quadrupling down. Okay, got it.
You'd think it was lobsters.
But you're wrong.
Yep.
But then if it was gonna be something different, you'd think it'd be something way different.
But it's not.
But no.
It's just
It's
little lobsters.
kind of a double juke. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that we have some objectively true things about the town, uh, nothing, no life exists, no small town life exists anyway without rumors. So each of you gets to make up a rumor about something about the town or somebody in the town. Uh, it's not necessarily true or false as of this time. It may become true or false later during play. But rumors about strange things or bizarre things or just strange coincidences are kind of the seeds of which we're going to build our story on. So, Sarah, what is a rumor that is believed in town?
A lot of the local kids, especially, those under like 10 years old, each generation, there tends to be each one seems to go through a time where they like tell their parents in the middle of the night when they're crying about the shadow man in their room.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, fair.
I'm sorry, it wasn't
Danny.
lobster related. Is that okay,
No,
guys?
that is.
Well, it could be lobster related.
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
shadow guy could be a lobster.
Guys, I quit.
Just you're scuttling in the night.
Okay, Danny, what is
Yes.
another rumor that is widely believed in town?
Well, I mean, the Great Lobster Rampage, that was no accident. The spell actually pulled some voodoo of some sort, pulled some sort of shenanigans, mystical shenanigans, and infused those lobster with a certain level of intelligence, and that's how they escaped, and they were trying to race back to join their fellow lobster brethren. And as a addendum to that, some of those intelligent lobster are still out there.
Okay, so is there like a source of this spell, or just some unknown witch doctor or something?
Spell. The Society for the Preservation of
Oh,
Local
gotcha.
Lobsters.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
They caused
the
this.
spell.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Aaron, what is another rumor that is widely believed in town?
I had heard that there was a tourist who was killed in the hotel that's attached to the fishbowl,
Oh,
and
no.
their body was covered with small little suction cup marks all over.
Okay. Interesting. That is a juicy bit of gossip. All right, and Brianna, what is another rumor that is widely believed in town?
Ooh, so it also has to do a little bit with the fishbowl. One time, about 4 years ago, the the senior class of the local high school they were gonna pull like a senior prank and like write all over the fishbowl. But when they got there, they found silhouettes of what appeared to be lobster people floating in the aquarium part of the fishbowl, but they ran away because they were too scared, so they didn't get a good look at it.
Okay. So is this a lot of students according to the rumor, or just a couple students according to the rumor?
About like 10.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's yeah. I can see how that rumor is going to be believed if that many. Yeah, 10 people saw it. Awesome. Okay. So we have, I think, a pretty good idea of what kind of a game this is going to be with the town. We certainly have some rumors that may or may not have anything to do with reality, or may not have anything to do with any of your characters. But now that we have this setting, we can start building our characters who are going to adventure in it. And in this rules light system, they don't have features in many others like D&D has races and classes. And rules light system and kids on bikes, uh, they're just not necessary. The rules uh, are so few. But what we do is we start by picking tropes that are easily kind of identifiable character ideas, like the bully or the jock or the plastic girl. Uh, so each character or each player, if you haven't already, would pick a trope out of the book, which I think all of us have the book, and I think everybody's already picked out a trope already. Has anybody not picked out a trope?
Working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, those of you who have picked out tropes, let's talk about uh, what tropes you picked and why you picked it. So I think Sarah, we'll start with you.
All right. Well, I am real excited to play a brutish jock
Okay.
as a trope named Blaze, who has frosted tips.
Okay.
Might be pre early 90s, and I don't care. Getting my frosted tips.
Okay.
I think that's legit at the time,
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
early on. Early on.
All right. So yeah, that's we're gonna develop Blaze from the trope of just to be a big brutish jock, but for now that's what we know. Danny, have you picked a trope?
I edited a trope. So
Sure.
it's the base is loner weirdo.
Okay.
It's a displaced military brat.
Okay.
So the idea then is that this our city is not like next to a military base, so but it is within maybe 15 to 20 miles of a
Okay.
military base, right? So so there's not a lot of kids that have military families here. So it's an oddity. But that also makes her a new kid at the school.
Okay.
Um,
Alrighty. Aaron, we'll skip over you unless you're ready.
I'm
In
ready.
which case, okay, alrighty. So, what trope are you going to bring to the game?
I'm going with the funny sidekick.
Okay, well, those are. It seems like a game that's going to need one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
No, yeah, I was always trying to be funny, even when it's probably not appropriate. Sort of a
Okay.
Dr. Nick.
Alrighty. All right. So we have a brutish jock. We have a loner weirdo. We have a funny sidekick, and Brianna. What is a trope you're going to bring to the game?
I'd love to do the bully trope.
Okay.
I thought that would be really fun. I
Okay.
had a character name of Andy Tully.
Okay. Alrighty. So we have the bully by the name of Andy, which it makes me think of Andy from Toy Story. So something clearly went wrong in Andy's life.
Yeah.
Andy started hanging out with Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen the fan theory that Sid actually went on the straight and narrow, and he was the guy working in the junkyard driving the junk truck. Anyway,
Mhm.
Okay, so we're going to develop those tropes. We're going to pick your character's age, strengths, and flaws, and first names for those who don't already have one. So if a trope is kind of the analog for a class, your age in this game isn't necessarily just a number. It's kind of like an analog for your D&D race because it gives you different stat bonuses. The three different ages you can be are children, teenagers, and adults. Certain tropes only work with certain ages. For example, nobody's a overprotective parent, but obviously you'd have to be an adult to play the overprotective parent. Uh, Sarah, well, actually, each of you has the tropes. Some of them can be either children or teens, or there's a choice. So this is where you would make that choice. Uh,
I
I
think,
think some of you wanted to be teens. I heard.
yeah, I'm a teen.
Okay. So a teenage Brutus jock.
Does teenage start at 13? Where does it start?
Whatever age you want it to be, but for the game mechanics terms, you're going to be a teenager.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to be a child at 13 and you wanted to be a teen at 13, so that way you could still be like in the same class, that's workable.
Gotcha. Doing the things. I'd probably do child for the game mechanics. I imagine he'd be 12.
Okay. So that's going to put you probably at a few years difference from Sarah and her Brutus jock, but that's not necessarily a problem because maybe he's your older brother, you're his younger brother, or something. Who knows?
Cool.
Danny and Aaron, have you guys decided on ages for your characters?
Mid-teens.
Okay, another teenager.
Another teenager.
Okay, so this group dynamic is a bunch of teenagers with one little kid tagging along. So let's start working on how that's going to work. I can start to see it already. I don't know if you guys can.
The tag along bully.
Yes.
Yeah. Stop picking on us.
Well, I mean, like young kids hurt you in a way that like no one else could. They pick on the they pick on the accurate thing.
The brutal
Right.
honesty.
Yes.
This is gonna hurt.
Yeah. Okay. So each Sarah, I don't know if we can get a character sheet shown.
Yeah, I
The
have
game mechanics are
the sample
pretty
one.
simple. Yeah. There are 6 attributes in the game. There's not really a skill system. Everything resolves. Any task you might want to do is going to fall under one of the 6 attributes. Those attributes are fight and flight, brains and brawn, and grit and charm. And the way the mechanics work is those of you who are familiar with D&D would recognize what a D4 and a D6 and a D8 look like. Everything all the way up to a D20. You assign each of those dice to one of your attributes. And in the case of the Brutus Jock, the D20 would go to brawn. So if the Brutus Jock wanted to lift something heavy or something that would relate to brute strength, Sarah was going to roll a D20 against whatever number I say she needs. So if the smaller your dice, the more difficulty you have. So Danny, you wanted to flip around some of your stats. If you've already done that on your character sheet.
Yeah, I've already
Okay.
set that
Yeah.
up.
So yeah, this is a very free form game. The tropes come with all the stats pre-chosen for you. You're certainly free to change them if you want to.
Mine looks blank.
Yeah, that's a Roll20 template thing. So the top 2 are fight and flight. Middle 2 are brains and brawn, and the bottom 2 are Charming Grit or Grit and Charm. I forget which is which. You are doing the Brutus Jock, so you'll do 1d12 in that top first one. Flight would be 1d8 in that second top one, and so on. We'll straighten that out when we're
Okay.
not streaming.
Okay.
You would also at this time pick your strengths and flaws, which are kind of like qualities or attributes about your character. The strengths will give you game mechanics. The flaws are just role playing hooks. They have suggested strengths and flaws based on the tropes. You don't have to pick those. You can pick anything you want. However, some strengths you get based on your age. So,
Phew.
Brianna, you are a child. You're going to get quick healing for free because
Yay.
children are resilient. The rest of you that are teenagers, you are all rebellious because you're teenagers. What rebellious does for you is you get some extra bonuses of one kind when dealing with children because children look up to you, and you get a different kind of bonus when dealing with adults because you're stubborn. So the
Awesome.
teenagers get rebellious for free, the children get quick healing for free,
Yay.
and then you can pick 2 more strengths. Although Brianna, you can't pick rebellious; that's a teenager only thing.
Well, what if I'm gonna be rebellious and pick it anyway, Hal?
Well, you can be rebellious, but you're not going to get the big game benefit of being rebellious.
Okay.
So there you go. And then the flaws are just for role playing.
Awesome. And how many flaws?
Yeah.
2. I mean,
Oh.
you can pick as many as you want, but these are supposed to be like the prominent things. So it's hard if you have like 6. It's hard to have 6 things being prominent.
Gotcha.
But there's certainly no reason you can't pick more than 2 if you really want to.
All right.
Yay.
Okay, so at this point, we have some basic decisions made about the character. We've given a little bit of individuality to the tropes by reassigning some stats if you wanted to and picking your strengths and flaws. So at this point, you would introduce the characters to each other so that we can kind of start to wrangle how everybody relates to each other. So Sarah, you kind of started us off already with Blaze and his frosty tipped hair. So tell us more about Blaze.
Blaze is so his dad lives vicariously through him. And so he's got to be the best. He's got to be the best at all of the sports. He plays football, he plays hockey, he plays basketball, and he plays baseball. And he goes to practice every single day. And when he gets home, his dad makes him watch old VHSs from the camcorder of his games where he messed up and missed a play. So he's always reminded of his failures.
Okay.
And his big secret is that the way he's rebelling is he actually really enjoys ballet. So he's been taking ballet
Okay.
classes on the side.
I like it. Okay. So what were the strengths and flaws that you picked?
Yeah, I haven't yet, so that's
Okay. Well,
fun.
all
Let
right.
me.
Well, we can come back to that. One more thing I would like to ask on the Brutus Jock. Did you change any of the attributes around, or did you just take that basic away?
I haven't played with it at all because I thought we were
Okay.
doing it here. So I will.
That's fine.
I will probably default to it. We heard a magic
Okay.
sound. There was a magic sound. It just happened. Thank you for following LRD 3RDO.
Yay.
So we're
Lord
not
Erdo.
playing. Yeah, we're not playing yet, but I think we're going to honor that anyway with an adversity token for somebody.
Ooh, what does that do?
Well,
Yay.
that is a game meta currency that you can use on your dice to get you a bonus. We'll go more into that when when we're beyond the character generation.
Awesome.
But for now, let's have somebody roll a d4, and Brianna will be one, and just go around. And whoever that
Okay.
is gets a point of adversity.
D4.
All right. So why don't we, Sarah, while you're picking your strengths and flaws, let's go on to Danny.
You got it.
So who is 3 in the order?
That was you.
Hey, adversity point
Yeah.
for me already right off the bat. Yep, that's right. That's how we do here. All right, so I'm thinking. All right, so what am I
So what
doing
is your
here? I'm just
character's
gonna.
name?
So I think the character is Nikki or Nicole Jackson
Okay.
is her last name. She's a military brat. Her dad is a military guy, probably some NCO. And her mom is Korean lady, but her parents are no longer together. So
Okay.
so her dad having to move all the time was too much for her mom, and so that kind of made that stop. But
Are you in the same
yeah,
grade as Blaze?
I don't know because I don't know what grade Blaze is in. I'm thinking Nikki's gonna be either a sophomore, probably sophomore. I was thinking
Okay.
sophomore.
Yeah, I was too, about 16.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So
Well, this is where we establish things like if you're in the same class together, that's this would be the time to decide things like that.
right. So she's this being the kind of early 90s, she's kind of really getting into like the hip hop scene and hip hop culture
Okay.
that's been around, in places where it's been, but like has now spread, is now slowly starting to grow in popularity else in other places. And being in the military, she got a lot of exposure to that.
Sure. Okay. So are
At,
are the people here in this part of the lobster country of Indiana, are they
Country.
less are they less into hip hop than your old friends, or are they about the same into hip
I
hop?
would say less. I would
Okay.
say that this is one of those places that suffers from the we get things a couple of years late,
Okay.
culturally
Sure.
itis.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Small
it's
towns
not
are
really
often that
there.
way. Okay.
Yep.
So we're good ways away from Chicago, it sounds like. Although
Yeah.
the lobsters, these must be Lake Michigan lobster, because I don't know where else they'd be coming from. So we must be over on the other side of Indiana.
Farm raised. Farm raised.
Yeah,
Farm
farm
okay, fair,
raised.
fair.
There you
Okay,
go.
that doesn't we
Raised
could
in
be
the
anywhere in Indiana.
fishbowl, Hal.
Yeah.
That's why we have bowls.
All
All
right.
right.
Yep.
So like I guess from top to bottom, her stats are grit is at the top. So she's always had to kind of take care of herself and manage herself.
Okay. So
And
grit,
so she knows how
yeah.
to do
In
so.
this game, grit is for like composure and willpower.
Right.
Okay.
And also quick thinking
Yep.
kind of stuff as well. So and then next up is fight, just kind of taking care of herself. She's probably been taking,
Okay.
martial arts
Sure.
classes and stuff. Then brain, then charm, then brawn, and then flight is last.
Okay.
So she is
Okay.
not someone that backs down or runs away. Like if
Okay.
someone steps up, she will, sometimes to her detriment, maybe, stand up for herself.
Sure. Okay.
Strengths. So rebellious, obviously. Cool under pressure, just always having to like deal with new things and new situations. And then tough. And then for her flaws, she has insecure and resentful. So they're kind of deeper flaws, that she's resentful for having to always move all the time, just as she's kind of
Okay.
maybe getting settled into a location. They pack up and she
Okay. So
moves.
she's resentful of her dad.
Resentful of having to move, and sometimes
Okay.
that comes
Okay.
out in being
Yep.
resentful of her dad, and sometimes it just comes out in being resentful for other people.
Sure.
Like she's in a new place, everyone's already in their friend groups and stuff. That's
Sure.
she
Sure.
resents
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
And then insecure, and that's kind of in the same vein, is that she feels like she's on the outside all the time, especially here. So
Okay. So cool under pressure and tough are the strengths you gave. Those have game benefits. Cool Under Pressure is something where you can spend the meta currency, an adversity token, to just roll, take the half value of a die instead of rolling. So if, for example, if I have her roll a grit test for some reason, and she only needs a 10 or under, you can just spend the adversity token to automatically pass that, and not have to risk it. So that's a cool ability. And Tough was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Tough is if you lose a combat roll, you can add 3. The
To lose it less hard.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll go over combat in a future session, but yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna keep you from getting beat up in a fight so much, so that's good.
Yeah. You still lose it. You just
Yeah.
lose it less hard.
You don't get hurt as hard. Yeah. All right. And Nikki was her name. Was
Right.
okay.
Is it with an I
Okay.
or a Y?
That's a fair question.
It's just with a I didn't.
And
think
is
of
there
that.
a heart or a dot over
Yes.
the I?
There
If
is.
it's not-
There is not a heart.
Okay.
I think she makes a little X.
Nikki with an X. Okay.
Well, over the I.
Yeah.
But yeah, like tagging style, like tagger style,
Yeah.
right? It's just this
Okay.
tag. So no, it's a Y. It's a Y at the end.
It's a Y. Take all the fun out of it. Okay.
Well, you can do like lots of little flourishes with the tail. So
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Not even 3 steps ahead.
Okay, Aaron, tell us about I guess Val. Looks like your character's name is Val.
Yeah, so I chose the Valerie is her name, but she goes by Val. She's probably 14. I think she's younger than the other two that we've already been introduced to.
Okay.
She is playing the funny sidekick, which would mean that her D20 is in charm, her brawn is a D12, her flight is a D10. On the bottom side, yeah, brains D8, grit D6, and bite is a D4.
Okay.
She's got kind of a normal family, but she feels kind of bored, and so while she's generally easygoing and intuitive, she does tend to be a little bit more restless, and if there's some challenge to go after, she's going to kind of recklessly go after it because you got to get a little excitement in this small lobster farming town, and its great lobster trees.
Okay.
This is Animal Crossing.
I haven't played. Zoidberg.
Yeah. Okay, so easygoing is the mechanical benefit is in this game, your reward for failing in a task is adversity tokens. And then you can spend adversity tokens to get dice bonuses later. But if you're easygoing and you fail, you can roll with it better. You get 2 adversity tokens instead of 1.
Okay.
And intuitive, you can spend an adversity token to ask the game master about what's going on with your surroundings or an NPC, and the game master has to give you accurate information.
Right.
So that is cool. So we resolved we're younger by a couple years than Nikki and Blaze. So do you know either of them, or are you just gonna know that they're like a couple grades ahead of you, or do you want to be?
I know Blaze because specifically I help out with the school newspaper, and so I've had
Okay.
to follow the sports thing, and so I've done
Okay.
interviews and I've had to ask questions.
Okay. Alrighty. Brianna, why don't you tell us more about Andy?
Yeah. So I would say that Andy lives with his mom and his younger sister. He he likes to be he kind of likes to be around there. His mom is like busy and kind of like disconnected. You know, she's not mean or anything, but she's just always doing things to try and support them. So he's always kind of there with his sister. But he loves to go over to his uncle's house because he has a bunch of like old war swords and like cool weapons and stuff on his wall. And he's got a
Okay.
bunch of tattoos, and he keeps joking that he's gonna
His
give
uncle
Andy
does?
tattoos, even though
Okay, gotcha.
his
Okay.
aunt, yeah, his uncle. Um, let's see. He I would say that he he definitely like bullies the kids in his grade because he doesn't want to appear weak like at all. Um and I think there was maybe a time that he got like embarrassed around like 4th grade, like really badly embarrassed, and so he's like, I'm never going to be like that again.
Okay.
But when it comes to teenagers, I think he doesn't really know what to do with them. He's like, I have no power here. What do like what do I do?
Okay.
Like what do I do? So I definitely think probably being around you guys will be something new for him to explore.
Okay.
I
So does he have any
haven't
connection to those teenagers?
I would love it if he could be friends his closest thing to his kind of friends with one of your siblings, one of your guys' siblings, so he knows of you.
Okay. Okay.
Um yeah, I think that would be great. I don't
So
exactly know
who's
who. Maybe
so whose little brother's obnoxious friend are you?
let's see.
So since Nikki is kind of newish, it doesn't necessarily make sense that that she or anyone in her family has a long-standing relationship with anyone, but maybe just by virtue of neighborhood, like
Okay. Like next door
and
neighbors is a
and
valid connection.
that's for
Yeah.
and that's kind of for anyone. And then I'm open to her having a sibling.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
hadn't thought of it.
I dig it. So yes, that is our answer.
Okay. So what is the answer?
So Nikki's younger brother, sister, what?
Brother, sister, doesn't matter. Yeah, brother. I guess brother. Brother makes sense.
Okay, so Nikki's younger brother is like my friend.
Okay.
If you could put that. And
Sure.
so we're probably around. Also, like
Yeah. You're probably
definitely
over at Nikki's
neighboring.
house. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Nikki moved in
As
next door. You got a new friend. Got an older sister. Happens to be played by Danny. Alrighty.
oh yeah.
Okay.
As
So
for
keep going.
stats. Oh, okay, cool. As for stats, I kind of want to play around with it, but I definitely want fight to be one of the higher ones.
Okay.
Strengths probably I get quick healing, which is nice. Tough and loyal would be awesome too. Even though he's kind of mean, those he is friends with, he's fiercely loyal too.
Okay.
Um, Flaws maybe obnoxious is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Um, demanding and vindictive I also liked too. Because if you wrong him, you're done.
Okay.
Ooh.
So yeah.
All
So
right.
that's
Well,
probably that.
okay. I think we're only really going to have time for doing the questions if we do it quick, and everything after that we'll just do offline and uh, bring up to speed next week. So I think we resolved that. Sarah, you know Val because of the school paper,
Yeah.
and
Whatever her name
Nikki,
is.
yeah, and Nikki, you know Andy because he's your little brother's friend. Do any of you guys know each other in any other ways?
Yeah. Jackson's that weird new girl in my grade.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're in the same grade with her. Okay.
Yeah, she's always got like headphones on and under her hoodie.
All right. So can you guys see the uh, rollable tables? I think. So Sarah,
Yes.
you're gonna roll a question about Nikki for a question you know about her negative and positive.
Okay, so I make one roll for each.
Yep. And then you're gonna answer those questions. So the first one is, what part of Nikki's personality scares you?
She doesn't seem intimidated by the normal clique crowds.
Okay.
And that's like not the order of things, so like I don't know what to do with
Yeah.
her.
Okay. Alrighty, and then a positive one. And also, if this is a question you don't want to answer, or you can just roll again.
I don't know if I know her well enough to answer this.
Okay, so you just roll, get a different question then. What about this character's personality do you try to use as a model for your own?
I think kind of to go off what I was just saying, like, she seems to not care, and like I don't know what to do with that, but like I wish I could afford not to care, like, and let things roll off of
Okay.
me.
All right. For Aaron's character, Aaron is Val. You know her because of the paper, so a negative and a positive for Val. And then if we're supposed to cross these off as we go, so if you get one of those two you already answered, just roll again.
What does this character have that you want to take from them?
Okay, so that can be physically or philosophically or
her bike.
I'd say because she's worked on the newspaper and stuff, and she's got like a camera that she's used, which is also proof of the mistakes that I've made on the field and stuff. So I wish I could break that camera.
Okay. And a positive. What's the bravest thing you've seen this young girl do?
Once during hockey season, um, she actually dropped her lens cap over the ledge where the door was, where we all go in and out, and it was during the game. And she needed her lens cap, so she actually crawled over the wall while the game was happening. And these were like people that were like a foot taller than her, coming barreling down. And these are hockey players, but like she scrambled down there and like got her lens cap and then scrambled back out. So I guess that was like, I don't know, maybe she's got a death wish or something. But I guess it was pretty brave.
Yeah. Okay. And then since you don't really know Andy that well, you would roll on the character you don't know chart. What good thing have you heard about Andy that you can't believe is true?
Oh. So this is early 90s.
Yep.
He's got the biggest collection of pogs and slammers of anyone in her middle school or whatever. Where are you?
Okay.
In his middle school.
Okay.
But like,
well, if he's a
based on the way like he dresses and like the holes in his backpack and stuff, I don't believe that.
Okay, well, if he's a bully, he might have just taken them. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Fair. But I don't know that about you.
You
Okay.
thought.
Okay. All right, so we are probably going to go over an hour. Are you guys okay if we go a couple minutes over?
Yes.
Finish out these questions?
Yeah, I'm okay with
I
that.
probably need to grab my charger, but yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So that was questions on all the other three characters. So
Yep.
Danny, we resolved that you know Blaze because you're in the same grade, so a positive and a negative for Blaze.
All right. So what am I drawing? Am I drawing a card here?
No.
It's the rollable chart.
If you go to Danny, the bulleted list in your icons up at the top, and then scroll to the bottom.
My bulleted list.
Yeah, the rollable tables.
Ah, I see here. Okay. So this is relationships to the group's rollable tables, characters that you know. So what? I'm doing a positive and a negative?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so let's do a positive.
What did this character do for you that makes you owe them a debt you can never repay?
So Blaze doesn't even know it, but basically there was an incident where a couple of the other kids at school kind of had were kind of messing with her, and she was actually kind of getting scared that they would probably kick her ass or something. And then and Blaze kind of came around the corner, and without even like realizing necessarily what was going on, just kind of noticed one of them, and um, maybe was pissed off about something else, and just kind of scared him away.
Okay.
Like just did like they had some beef themselves, and so it's kind of scared him away, and then just kind of left that situation. So
Okay.
Nikki was spared
So yeah,
bullies.
the bully clique hasn't messed with you since, kind of a thing.
I mean, not since, but it's more that they,
Okay.
it was just the opportunity was there for them then, and then Blaze came and just kind of
All right.
made that go away. And then, I mean, like, come on.
So this
Like,
kind of is predicated on the fact that you dislike him. So if you don't want to make that your relationship, you can roll
well, I'm
again.
not gonna say yeah, no, I can keep kind of stick with this.
Okay.
At the end of the day, like, Blaze is a dumb jock, like,
Okay.
and they're, they rule the school and they think they're better than everybody, and
He gets a lot of
you know,
acclaim for his
uh,
success, and you're like, so you can throw a ball, boo
likes,
up.
yeah, so you can throw a ball, like, great, good job. So
Okay.
so it's kind of that whole thing, um especially maybe not being used to like that sports culture, because
Okay.
it's not as big a deal in military like DoD
Yeah.
schools and stuff. So
All right. So you don't know Val very well because you haven't interacted with the school paper, and she's not in your grade. So that would be a character you don't know question.
right. You hope to learn about this character to manipulate
Well,
them.
again, that's assuming you're a manipulative person. So if you don't want to make that the question, just roll again.
I guess I'll roll, but
Okay. This one is, what is this character doing that threatens their family's reputation? You can answer that one, or you could go again.
I don't know that there's anything that they could be doing to ruin the reputation
Are they?
without putting something onto the character that I don't know if Aaron
Well, that's the
wants.
whole point. Is you get to
Yeah,
put
you can
something
add
on
to
the
my
character.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, she's she's drinking beer, or whatever.
Are you drinking beer, Val? Is that what it is?
Hard cider.
15-year-old sneak.
No, I'm gonna go one more, and then whatever this
Okay.
is, we'll take it.
All right.
Whatever it is. All right. Who
So
does this character have a public feud with?
All right. So you just gave Val an enemy. So there you go.
Okay, that's good. I like that one.
All right. So
So Val has a very public feud with the homecoming queen. Because
senior? That's like a
yeah, with
couple
a
years
senior.
older.
Like,
Yeah. So
like
what's
that's
that about?
nuts. Well, it was it was during the homecoming ball, and the homecoming queen and some of their friends were kind of in the back. Probably some alcohol was involved, and there was Val with the camera,
Ooh.
and
Ooh.
like the
That's-
intrepid reporter's got to let the people know. And unfortunately for Val, like, it didn't fly, right? Like, who believes this freshman over the homecoming queen? Come on now. But the homecoming queen is not forgotten.
That was totally non-alcoholic punch in the bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. All right.
all right. And then for Andy,
Yeah, he's friends with your little brother, so you know Andy. So that'll be a positive and a negative.
so I'll start a negative. How far would you go to avoid being alone with this character? You know, like, not like this is one of those, like, it's not like, oh my god,
Your little
I'm gonna
brother's
I'm
annoying
gonna kill
friend.
myself,
Yeah.
but it's my little brother's annoying friend, and he's probably a little creepy sometimes too, and he's definitely obnoxious, and so the door is generally locked. I remember, like, one time the door wasn't locked, and I think Andy was, like, in there kind of looking through some just stupid shit, and kicked them out of the room, basically, like, what the hell are you doing in
Oh,
here? um and
okay.
yeah, but just insofar as, like, he's an obnoxious kid, uh so it's not anything like super threatening, but it's definitely like, I would turn around and walk the other way in the mall, or I would
Okay.
you
Okay.
know yeah.
Fair. All right. So let's do a positive one for Andy.
But the positive one is,
We already had that one. So roll again. There you go. What item did this character give you that you treasure? So that could be something physical, or it can be like a memory, or something intangible.
so one thing that happened when Andy was actually in a room was kind of seeing some old record collections, like, just like a Herald record collection, just some weird kind of stuff, um and so
Some salt and
hanging out
pepper.
with Uncle Swords on the Walls, um had found, like, another couple of old records, and just kind of, like, said, to kind of maybe ingratiate or something, I don't know, gave them to Nikki, and one of them happened to have, like, a really rare breakbeat on it
Okay.
uh that that would have been really hard to find. It was kind of like random,
Okay.
happenstance, but yeah.
Fair.
So
I love that. That's cool.
All right. Aaron, Blaze, so you do a positive and a negative.
Okay.
So,
Positive roll. Just
What?
had that.
No, that's actually that's a new one. So what do you admire about Blaze, but you'd never tell him?
I admire about Blaze is that, like, their dad is, like, involved all the time and is, like, always there
Okay.
helping out and always,
Okay.
like, just being super cool.
Okay. So your dad is not that way, it sounds like.
Or that's how I see it.
Okay. Okay.
In
Fair.
the
Fair.
that I've perceived it. Like, I don't see the home life. I just see, like, on the field, like, cheering you on, occasionally giving you helpful hints. Like, oh my goodness, like, my parents didn't give me helpful hints.
Okay. Awesome.
if you only knew.
The negative.
What does this character have that you want to take from them? Actually, no, we did that one already.
Yep.
Did that one already.
She wants to break your camera. Not that you know. Oh, this will be a good one.
This is the most
Oh my
dishonest
God.
thing.
That you have seen
Oh.
this character do. So since you saw it, you're involved, at least in a you were there kind of a way.
Almost went down the road of steroids, but we're gonna pass on
I
that
knew
one.
it.
Honest. I had seen like, at one of the local restaurants, like the Denny's. Every time Blaze goes, Blaze, like, suddenly, like, silverware disappears and just always is stealing, like, little things
Okay.
from restaurants and places that he goes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Pay for the steroids.
I'm a thief.
It's little thief. He's
Yeah.
just
Okay. It could be an indication of being a klepto, or maybe we don't know why, but Blaze just really likes silverware.
they're gifts to appease the lobster fae.
It could be. Who knows?
cold iron.
I keep bending my forks on their shells.
Yeah. Okay. So, for Nikki, yeah, you don't know her, so you do a character you don't know roll.
Okay. What do you hope to gain by humiliating this
Ooh.
relative stranger?
Okay, so it's predicated on you wanting to do this. So if that's not your picture of how you want to relate, you can roll again.
Not something my character would care about.
Okay, fair. That's why you get to reroll.
Why don't you want to associate with this character? Yeah, that seems fair. Like it's the constant scowls. Like every time like you go try to say hi or wave, like you just
Okay.
get this sort of cold death stare. Like leave me alone. Like I
Okay.
just want to be friends. But
All right.
yeah, at this point I don't want to be friends. It's off-putting.
Fair. Okay, and for Andy, I don't think you know Andy,
Not know Andy.
so that'll be another you don't know roll.
You hope to learn about this character to manipulate them.
Well, if that's not your character, because you didn't like it before, unless you like it for Andy.
I might like it for Andy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We only
I knew it
manipulate
was
the young.
coming. I knew.
Andy's just a little kid, but this is a little kid that
Okay. Yeah.
has some anger issues.
Sure.
Little kid that's 2 years younger than you.
Actually, I want to kind of learn the things that will make them a little bit more easygoing. That
Okay,
will
yeah.
like. So I
looks
keep
like-
looking for the things that they really excite them. Like, oh well, there's this really cool thing. Or you like it? And then you get the aggressive like voice back.
Okay, hey, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe you've seen him be a bully before, and you want to figure out how to get him off that path.
Yep.
Yeah, fair. Okay. All right. So, Andy, Brianna,
Hi.
you do not know Blaze,
Do not.
so
Let's
you will do a
roll.
character you don't know roll.
Okay. What wonderful thing did this character do that the whole town was talking about? Oh my
Okay.
god. All. No. Let's see. I think definitely winning like a really, really, really important game for the school. Like it was
Okay.
something that the whole town was kind of
Okay.
really hoping for. Maybe getting to like a state championship or something. Because I mean,
So what did he do that that wasn't like the whole team's win? What did he do that made it happen?
you're definitely like the MVP. You may maybe you guys were really tracking behind. How many sports do you play, Blaze?
4.
4. Okay. Probably for hockey then. Within like the last couple minutes, you were just scoring like nobody's game. Like it was
Boom.
awesome.
Hat trick.
And you won it, and we got state.
It's what the ladies say too.
Yeah. Third period. Yeah. Okay. All
Get
right.
the hell
fair.
out.
Okay. You, I believe, do not know. No, you do know Nikki, because she's the older sister to your best friend that you were rooting around in her bedroom for some reason.
Yeah, like a freaking creep.
So let's do a positive and a negative for how you feel about Nikki.
Okay. Let's do the negative one first. Get that out of the way. All right.
Ooh.
Oh my God! How did this character betray you and you confided that? Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off of one of the other things. When I brought the records over, which was definitely an appeasing thing. Like, oh, yeah, that was kind of weird. I'll give you some records to appease you. I think that maybe he had gone up to her when he was over and was like, trying to start conversation about that and just be like, are you mad at me kind of thing. And Nikki very much just like shrugged him away and was like, like get out of here, like I don't want to see you, like whatever. And so I think it was very much a betrayal of trying to be friendly for once,
Sure.
and that got thwarted and now he's mad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad feelings right there.
All right. Positive
All right.
time, my
Yep.
favorite. Oops. I probably rolled it twice. Rip.
Well,
The first one
well,
got rolled before.
yeah. So the first one was already answered. So,
Oh, perfect.
so this is a little bit different from the one we already answered. So this is a new one. What great kindness did Nikki do for you that they don't even remember, but you do?
Ooh. Let's see. Probably he was over with her brother and they were outside just doing their thing in the front yard, and then some teenagers came up kind of down the street and were starting to pick on them, and she was walking out of the house just like going somewhere, and she fought him off and was like, hey, like, don't do that. That's like, get out of here. And so he's
Okay.
like, oh, I'm usually
Okay.
the one on the other side.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, she was sticking up for her brother and you because he happened to be there, but meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. And then we have Val, who I think you don't know. So we'll
I
do
do
a
not.
do not know Val roll.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, this is one that if that's
It
a question
it
you want to
it
answer,
yeah, it came up, but I don't think we answered it.
yeah, we skipped it. So you can do that one or you can roll again, unless if you don't want to try to be humiliating, Val.
So that's definitely something of his character, but because he doesn't know her,
Okay.
probably wouldn't cross his mind
Fair.
yet.
Alrighty.
Let's
So
try
let's
again.
roll again. Okay.
Oh,
So you only met her this one time, but why was that positive?
let us think. I'd say the one time that Andy met Val was when during the lobster parade. He's kind of on the shorter side. So like he was trying to like get trying to like see but he couldn't because there are a bunch of like teenagers in the way, and he was like shouting at them, and he was like, "Hey, like, get the hell out of my way," right? And then like Val happened to be in front of him and like stepped aside and was like, "You can come in front of me. It's okay. I'm taller than you." And so he was like, "Oh, thanks." And then he
That's a
gave her
yeah.
chips.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, we're 15 minutes over, but we finished the questions. We'll finish the characters up, I think, offline during the week, so that way we can end without being too far over time.
Cool. This was a lot of fun.
All right.
I
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
So
collaborative stuff.
indeed, indeed. So I think we can all kind of start to guess about what's going to be, what mysteries might be coming your way. My big assignment is figuring out how all these characters are going to be kind of put into the same situation together. So it's good that we have these ties worked out and these histories so that I have something to go with. I'm kind of glad that we're doing this with a week interval rather than me having to start right now, because that would be really hard.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, Sarah, should we do any kind of a sign off?
Yeah, just thanks for tuning in, and we will be here every Wednesday at 7 Central, just little short sessions, an hour at a time. And until we're done, we're thinking about 6 sessions, but we'll kind of play that by ear. So, but thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to
Thank you.
don't forget to follow us here on Twitch. Give us a subscribe on YouTube, and check out our Patreon and join our Discord channel as well. We'll drop in all of those links here in the chat. But thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.